What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Halas. I'm a writer from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I almost didn't say what I do. I just, Alan.
You totally threw me off with that intro. My name is Jim, and what the heck do I do? I'm a keynote to motivational speaker, and we are here for a bonus.
Yes.
Which I guess we continue to call a bonus. It's just an episode.
It is what you want it to be.
It's whatever you would prefer it to be.
Anyway, when we don't have guests here on this show every other week, we talk about things that people with side hustles always go through. Mm-hmm. Today, we've had a couple writers on recently.
Yes.
So today we're talking about reading.
Oh, I like your transition of the year. Yes, like reading people.
Yes.
Reading vibes, reading nonverbals. And
yes.
It's important for really any form of work. But we've kind of found, based on our side hustles, that like you really got to connect with people in that way. And if they're not picking up what you're throwing down, then that's an important thing to recognize. And I brought it up because, like, for me, and I can speak to this from a business side and a side hustle side.
Yes, a side of a side hustle.
Side of a side.
It made sense.
If I'm giving a talk or just presenting to people, and like the audience is just not clicking with like a part that I'm doing, or I could just tell it's not, then I move on. And like, I'm not going to try and like dive in deeper or try and like make it something it's not. If it's not rolling right away, then like that's totally fair. And I think like, and sometimes I'm almost sometimes too keenly aware of what people think, where the fact that like I overread it a little bit.
Yeah.
But if I could pick it up, what they're not feeling, or maybe what they are feeling. I will also say the other side of this is like, if they're really diving into something with me, then I'll just keep going.
Like I lean heavy into it.
I dive in. I kind of go off script, if you will, which I love doing that. That happened to me last Friday. I was in Illinois talking, and 800 students, and they were just like digging one of my topics, and I talked for probably 5 more minutes than I typically do, and just like made it up. And I was like, we're gonna keep going and going on this, and
just improv in.
Yeah, which is fun, and it makes it good. Like that's a part that to me is super exciting, also a little terrifying, because like if you're not prepared, you can't really dive in. But the same goes for like the business side too. Like if you're in a meeting, if you're presenting to someone, and they're just like the nonverbal, just kind of like this, or
yes,
like head down, like maybe move on to the next topic, or maybe like clap, or do something that will get them, going,
get their attention
a little
just
bit.
Clap right in their face.
Yeah, go directly up to them and clap. I'm giving you permission to do that, but it's an important and really critical piece of your career, of your side hustle, to read people and to know what they're doing, and if you read them wrong, that's okay. At least you're trying.
Yeah,
it's the moral of the story.
So in my sense of things, mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of hard, like the event space, like, when we do concerts and stuff, when you can read that, like maybe a band isn't hitting, you can't really like pull them off the stage and be like, hey guys, you got to wrap this up. You know what I mean?
Time to go. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be great.
Just unplug them.
Like the Apollo. I just pull out like a cane. I'm like, nah, you're out of here.
Sorry about it.
So no, I can't really do that, but the meeting side is actually the part that this kind of applies more to me for. Mm-hmm. Being able to read, like, if somebody maybe isn't getting it, especially, so what I do is, I'm trying to sell people's advertising, mm-hmm. Or I'm writing about them, and like, or getting people to partner with Breaking and Entering and things like that. Like there's all sorts of different times that I'm meeting with somebody and kind of explaining what it is that I actually do. And
other than breaking and entering into their homes.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too. Mm-hmm. And so like for me, I think that, it's hard because I can read somebody that way, and I can see when they're not getting what I'm communicating. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or like even talking social media stuff, talking digital media stuff, like I tend to spend a lot of time in spaces that people aren't really maybe in this area of the world getting up to right now. Like we talked previously about some of the AI stuff. Yeah. I'm experimenting with some of that stuff. You've probably actually seen clips that have been AI cut from this show.
Actually, this currently is AI.
Yeah, some of this, yes.
Yeah, this is wild. Like we really sound and think like Jim and Alan, but
don't fool them yet.
Good point. This is not AI.
We're not. Yeah, no. But with that, like, so I run into, the situation where like you kind of have to explain the technology, or you have to explain, that like for me, it's a media outlet that we write and we do editorial, that we're not a press company. We don't, just publicize artists and try to make them popular. They use it as press, but we are not, you know what I mean? Like we're supposed to be objective kind of thing. So like reading in those meetings, like you can tell it comes down to communication skills. It comes down to, what is working, what's not working for somebody.
Exactly.
And the second you see it, like you said, you really have to pivot. And if it's not, if the vibes are off, as the kids are saying.
No vibes. Yeah.
I'm not a vibes guy. I hate the word vibes, actually.
I actually love it. I'm a big vibes guy.
If the vibes are off, though, you have to be quick to be like, okay, well, let's talk about something that's more, we not be so overt about it, but talk about something that's more relatable or something that they might get. And then bring it back and tie it all in.
I gotta tell you, I cringe hard when people are not good at this. Because it's just one of my strengths. You know, you're good at.
Like when they're going way too long.
Way too long. It's like I've been on company presentations before where someone is just 10 minutes too deep into what they're doing. It's like a 20-minute homily. You know, like you needed to stop 10 minutes ago, maybe even 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And that is the ultimate cringe moment where I'm like, dude, they're not grasping what you're doing, and you're just trying to just go and push, and you don't have to do that. Like you can stop and pivot and go back. And no, this may not be a strength for everyone. I understand but like, follow your gut instinct. If you feel like they're not feeling it, they're probably not feeling it. If you feel like they are, they probably are. And you could tell, pretty quickly, but I would work off that. And again, like I learned how to do this really good by watching people do it really poorly.
I think so.
It's a big takeaway where I'm like, I could tell that group wasn't into it. And then at the same time, of course, I learned how to do it well from people who do it well. But I think the bigger lessons is like, ooh, those moments of like that dude just kept going and deeper, and they clearly didn't like it, right? And he just kept going. And then like I've seen people just sitting there like this, like they're not into it. Like move on, or and then or just like end it. Like if you have an hour call and it's like been 40 minutes, you don't have to go the full hour. Like,
right.
If you've gotten your point across, great. Give them 20 minutes back in your calendar, and give them a sandwich and say good luck. Like I do
give
that
them
a lot.
Sandwich, send them on their way.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like to be obviously aware of people's time, but yes, I really reading people and what they're not saying is such an important piece. Like listen to what they're not saying, and you will really catch that. And it's something that I love doing, and it's kind of scary sometimes, but it's like I hope I read that right, and then I actually kind of like grade myself when I leave because I'm a maniac.
I think us doing this show is also like part of being able to read people. Like you and I can kind of tell when like a conversation has hit its point.
Yeah, usually I can't, but you're good at this, so you can. That's what I found. I just follow your lead.
You just follow my lead? Well, I think it's time for us to wrap this thing up.
That's right. Sometimes like I'll just be like lost on my own question, and Alan would just come in and be like, ask this question that's like awesome, and I'd be like, thank God for him.
And vice versa, I've zoned out. Don't go back to the episodes, but there's been at least one where I kind of zoned out. And
go back and
Jim
report
saved
back.
me a little bit, so it happens.
This is a mutually beneficial podcast, is the moral of the story. Anyway.
Communication studies, go Marquette. We learned it.
All
right. On that note, I think it's time we wrap this one up.
It is.
Because,
let's roll.
We've
been talking too much. I'm reading all of your nonverbals, and they're not good.
They've clicked away. No. If you haven't clicked away, thank you. We are the Hustling Sideways podcast. You can check us out. We have stuff for you every Monday. We've got an episode, either Jim and I just talking, or we've got an episode where we've got some amazing guests on. We've had some great guests in the past, so go check those out.
Got more coming.
And if you want to follow this podcast, you can get us wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to us wherever. It's great. And then you can also find us on YouTube. We are also on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We're on Facebook. And we are on TikTok as well, with all sorts of content related to this show too. So if you want to be a guest, you can also be a guest. You can sit right next to Jim. Send us an email, hustlingsideways@gmail.com, or we can do Zoom. If you we can read the room. We can read the room. See, that's what we do. We read the room.
All right, that's enough.
On that note, it's time for us to get out of here. Jim,
keep on hustling.
We'll see you next week.